So we're talking about mitosis, which is simply the division of body cells, or more specifically, we tend to refer to these cells as somatic cells. Somatic cells being anything that are not sex cells. And so this will lead to two identical cells. So mitosis is going to look like this. You can see we have our DNA, we make copies of our DNA, then we line our DNA, split it up, and we end up with two identical cells. Then we have meiosis. And so meiosis is division of sex cells, which will lead to four different cells. So mitosis, somatic cells, meiosis, sex cells. And so here you can see we have our DNA, we make copies. We have this process where we can split it up, but also notice this little mix match. We call that crossing over. We'll go into that later. But we can split it and then we split it again, so we end up with four cells that are all different, and they all have half of what the original cell had. And then we have our four types of tissues. So we're going to start with our connective tissue. This would be our very top one. It's got some skeletal or bone tissue, osteocytes shown. They're little circles with lots and lots of rings in them. So it makes up bone, cartilage, and blood, and it will connect organs together. That's the whole point of connective tissue, is it connects. Then we have muscular tissue. And muscular is all about moving the skeleton. Remember, the skeleton is not focused on movement. Muscles move the skeleton. Also, beating heart would be muscular, and movement of food through the digestive tract would be skeletal. The key concept you'll notice is movement. Our other two, we have our epithelial, makes up our skin, the linings of our internal pathways and glands. These tend to look like little building blocks of some sort generally. Sometimes they look more like a squashed egg with a really obvious nucleus in it. And then we have our nervus, which are the most uniquely shaped because it's like it's got a star with a really long tail. And so these will conduct impulses. So things like the brain, the spinal cord, any of the nerves through the body. The idea here is we are carrying messages. We're carrying information.